S is for standards. Now, what are your standards? Some of you will instantly think about what your standards are and you'll know them and you'll be able to reel them off. Others will think, well, I don't know. I don't even know if I have any. I can guarantee you do. You absolutely have standards. In my other book, Rooted for Relationships, there's a whole section on standards. It talks about standards and boundaries. And by all means, if you want to take a read, it's on Amazon. But let's talk about just the standard side for this one. Standards is those things that you have and should have before you're in a relationship. You may create others as you go along, but ideally you would have standards. So standards are almost like a set of rules for yourself. Now, most of us would have been taught standards by our parents and caregivers growing up. And one of the earlier ones would have been as a toddler. When somebody hands something to you, you say ta. And as you get older, you learn to say thank you. You are told to say please. You know, these are the most common standards that we're taught as children. And then as we get older, we enter into the school system, and depending on the school that you attend, you may find that as a teacher walks into the room, you stand, or you may say, "Good morning, Miss So-and-so." When the head teacher walks in, you greet them. And it's something that you're taught. You're taught by your leaders that are around you. And as you grow up, you learn more and more standards. If you're a guy, for example, and your parents taught you that you should open doors for a woman, that's another standard that you've been taught. If your mum comes in with heavy shopping, you take the bags. You know, if you put something, you finish eating and you put something in the kitchen, then you either wash it up or put it into the dishwasher, or at the very least you remove the plate from the table. These are all standards. Now, as an individual and as a male or a female, you will also have certain standards for yourself. And these would have been things that you may have been taught by other people, i.e. you may have been in a relationship where the person's treated you very well and you got used to a certain type of attention or behaviour, and then you've now adopted that as one of your standards for a relationship. So, for example, if you've watched the movie Think Like a Man, where one of the characters, her name escapes me. What was her name? The Megan Good character. When she says, "Well, I don't open doors, and I don't come out of the house when someone just presses the horn. You know, I will always wait for the door to be opened for me." Obviously, she's read this book and she's decided that will be a standard that she will follow. But it worked for her. Whereas some of the other ladies, they didn't have that as a standard. This is what I mean by the personal standards that you set for yourself. Now, I suggest that you don't set ridiculous standards. Some people will say, right, I am not going out for a meal with a guy or with a lady unless it comes to at least £150. I will not go out with somebody who asks me without saying a certain word. You know, it's just little things that might be a little bit borderline ridiculous, okay? But it is good to have these standards. I remember watching a program, I can't remember what it's called now. It was one of these, like a reality thing about weddings. And some of you may have seen it, where there was a guy and a girl and their first date had been to a chicken shop. Yeah, I'm pausing for effect. A chicken shop. Not KFC, a chicken, like a chicken and chip shop. That was their first date. They actually sat in and ate chicken and chips. On the wedding day, when they left the church, they were hungry. Guess what he did? Did I mention it was the wedding day? He went to the chicken shop and got chicken in a box, which they ate in the back of the car. Now, for me, just repeating it to you makes me quiver. Horrifying. But for them, if that's how they started out their relationship and that's perfectly acceptable to them, then that's fine for them. But for someone else, oh, no. My standards are too high for that. And so your standards are always very, very individual, but you need to have some. You do need to have some because they are your guidelines. And the reason why it's important to have them is you may find yourself in friendships or relationships where somebody is not necessarily treating you the way you'd like to be treated, but for fear of being alone again, or for fear of missing out on some fun, or for fear of having to do without those gifts that the person gives you, or the money they spend on you, or how it looks to have somebody next to you at that friend's party or whatever, you compromise on your standards. You could look back and think, who's this person? Who is this person that I've become? I once told myself that I don't do chicken and chips, or I don't do the opening of doors, and yet here I am, not just opening my own door, but opening his. Which again, there's nothing wrong with that if that's who you choose to be.